of the variables when it comes to dieting is the meal frequency, how often you are ingesting nutrients. It can go from intermittent fasting, where you have like 1 or 2 meals per day at the end of the day, after 16 or so hours of fasting, up to 8 or 10 very small meals in a day, which you typically see in bodybuilding circles. Now, the type of diet or the meal frequency really depends on both your psychological, neurological profile and the amount of cortisol you're producing, as well as your natural tendency. I'm going to give you an example. Personally, I have binge eating frequency. I'm not saying that I binge, I'm saying, or that I'm bulimic. I'm saying that I need to feel satisfied after a meal. I need to be able to eat to my content to feel good. If when I followed a typical bodybuilding approach of eating like 6 small meals per day, I would just go crazy, okay? Every meal would just give me a taste for food. I would have to stop before I was satisfied, and I couldn't wait to get my next meal in. And then after the next meal, I would have the same thing happen. I would never be satisfied. It was exactly as if my wife came to me when I was lying in bed, and she starts to tease me, and just when I'm ready to go, she goes away. That's pretty much how I felt all day long when I was having a typical 6 to 8 small meals a day. For me, 3 meals per day or even intermittent fasting work better psychologically because it allowed me to be satisfied after every meal. So there's no way that I would feel comfortable personally sticking to 6 small meals a day. Now, studies have shown that if protein and caloric intake is equivalent, the amount of meals per day doesn't matter that much when it comes to losing fat or body composition, improving body composition. So it really is a matter of finding what works for you. If you're someone who doesn't have much of an appetite, doesn't like to eat that much, well, having 3 big meals in a day will be hard for you because you just don't have the appetite to eat all those nutrients. Or if you're a neurotype 3, you are always stressed, anxious, you overproduce cortisol, when if you have big meals, it can actually lead to low blood sugar between those meals, especially with intermittent fasting, which will increase cortisol even more, which will be negative for body composition. So depending, and if you have a type 1A, 1B, then you can have a much lower meal frequency and you won't be negatively affected by the overproduction of cortisol. So the amount of meals you have per day should reflect your natural tendency, what you naturally are inclined to do. When I have a client, for example, I normally ask them to send me an eating journal before we even start working together, where they write down the hours of their meal and their meal composition, all that stuff, so that I know what is their natural tendency as far as how many meals they eat per day. If someone naturally likes to eat 3 times a day, I'm not going to throw them an 8 meals per day diet. It doesn't fit their profile. Just like if someone likes to eat 6 small meals a day, I'm not going to have them do intermittent fasting. So you want to respect the person's natural tendencies as much as possible, then make the modification in nutrients intake to allow them to lose fat or gain muscle depending on their goal. But there's no one-size-fits-all diet. It's all should reflect your natural profile and tendency if you want to increase your chances of results.